December 23rd, standing in my childhood kitchen at 2 p.m., hands shaking while I stirred pasta sauce nobody would eat. That's when my dad walked in with a smile that made my stomach drop, the one he uses right before he says something that'll gut you in front of witnesses. I was 26, 3 months into my first postgrad job, making $38,000 in a city where studio apartments started at $1,400. Living with 2 roommates in a place where the heat worked maybe half the time. My bank account had $247 in it. I just paid rent, student loan minimum, car insurance, and bought groceries that would last me until my next paycheck on the 30th. But it's Christmas, and in my family, Christmas means performance. The pasta sauce bubbled too loud in the silence. My dad leaned against the counter, arms crossed, wearing that burgundy sweater my mom bought him, the expensive one from Nordstrom. "So," he said, and I already knew. "Your sister mentioned you're not doing gifts this year." My sister. Right. I told Emma 2 weeks ago, sitting in my car after we grabbed coffee, her treat, because I'd said I couldn't swing it. She'd been understanding then. Hugged me, said nobody cared about gifts, that we just gotten together, and that was what mattered. I should have known she'd tell them. Yeah, my voice cracked. I cleared my throat. Money's tight right now. I'm still getting settled with a new job and... Tight. He said it like I'd claimed poverty while wearing diamonds. Emma says you went out to dinner last week. I had gone to dinner. My college roommate's birthday. I'd split an appetizer and order the cheapest thing on the menu, $13 for pasta, which I'd eaten half of and saved the rest. I'd nursed 1 drink for 3 hours. The whole night cost me $22 with tip, and I felt guilty about it for days. Dad, that was for Sarah's birthday. I barely spent anything. But you spent something. He grabbed a beer from the fridge, twisted the cap with his casual aggression. See, that's what I don't understand. You can afford to go out with friends, but you can't afford to get your father a Christmas gift. The kitchen felt smaller. I focused on stirring, watching red sauce swirl around the wooden spoon. It's not like that. Then what's it like? Explain it to me. Here's the thing about my dad, he doesn't actually want explanations. He wants you to realize you're wrong through the process of trying to defend yourself. It's a trap, and I walked into it anyway. I'm barely making it right now. My salary doesn't go as far as you think, and I've got student loans, rent, insurance, groceries. We all have bills. His voice got louder. Background noise from the living room went quiet. My mom, my sister, my aunt and uncle who'd driven in from Boston. They were all listening now. I had bills at your age, too. But I never told my parents I couldn't afford a gift for them. My face burned. Times are different now, Dad. Rent alone is. There you go again. He laughed, but nothing about it was funny. Your generation always has an excuse. Everything's harder for you, right? Nobody's ever had it tough except millennials. I wasn't even a millennial. I was born in '98. But correcting him felt impossible when my hands were shaking and my throat was closing up. I'm not saying. You know what this is. He moved closer. The beer bottle gestured at me like punctuation. This is entitled behavior. You want us to understand that you're struggling, you want sympathy, but you can't show basic gratitude to the people who raised you. The pasta sauce started sticking to the bottom of the pot. I turned off the burner. Looking back, I should have just left the kitchen. But I was 26 and still programmed to stand there and take it, to try to make him understand, to prove I wasn't whatever he was calling me. Dad, I'm grateful. That's not. I love you guys. I'm grateful for everything you've done. But I literally cannot afford gifts right now. I'm asking for understanding. No. His voice dropped, which was somehow worse than the yelling. You're asking for a pass on basic decency because you made bad choices. That phrase, bad choices, hung in the air like smoke. My mom appeared in the doorway. Honey, maybe we should. No, Linda. She needs to hear this. He kept his eyes on me. We paid for half your college. We let you live here rent-free for a year after graduation. We helped with your car when it broke down. And now you can't scrape together $20 to get your father a gift. $20. He'd reduced it to $20. Like the amount was the point. Like I hadn't spent 2 weeks feeling sick about this, knowing Christmas was coming, doing the math over and over in my head. $20 was 3 days of groceries. $20 was half a tank of gas. $20 was the difference between making rent or having to ask someone, probably him, for help. It's not about $20, I said quietly. It's about having nothing left. I'm trying to be responsible. I'm trying not to go into debt or ask you for money, and that means sometimes I can't. Responsible. He shook his head, smiling in that way that made me feel 6 years old and stupid. You think it's responsible to insult your parents like this? To show up empty-handed and expect everyone to feel sorry for you? My sister walked in then. Emma, 29, married to a guy who made 6 figures, living in a house they bought 2 years ago. She looked uncomfortable. Dad, maybe. Emma bought us gifts, he said, pointing at her without looking away from me. Emma just bought a house, and she still managed to think about other people. But you're too busy feeling sorry for yourself. Something cracked in my chest. The part that had been trying to stay calm, trying to explain, trying to make him see. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm telling you the reality of my situation. The reality? He laughed, actually laughed. The reality is you're selfish. You've always been selfish. Even as a kid, everything was about you. What you wanted, what you needed. And now you're an adult and you think the world owes you something because you have student loans and a job you don't like. I never said I didn't like my job. My aunt, my dad's sister, appeared behind Emma. Tom, come on. It's Christmas. Exactly. It's Christmas. And she can't even. He gestured at me with the beer bottle again, and some of it sloshed onto the floor. You know what? Forget it. Don't get me anything. But don't expect us to pretend this is okay. Don't expect us to celebrate you when you can't even show basic respect. He walked out, just left me standing there with pasta sauce burning smell in the air and my entire family staring at me like I'd done something unforgivable. I couldn't breathe right. My mom touched my arm, soft, apologetic, which was somehow worse than if she'd yelled too, and whispered, "Just give him some time." Time. Like that was the problem. I went to the bathroom, sat on the edge of the tub with the door locked, and pulled up my bank account on my phone. $247. I refreshed it twice, like maybe I'd missed a zero. My next paycheck was 7 days away. I had 3/4 tank of gas. I had enough food to get through the week if I was careful. I had $47 in my savings account, that I'd been building back up after an emergency vet bill in September. Dynamics, the truth is only acceptable if it doesn't make them uncomfortable. The second your reality contradicts their narrative, you become the problem. I went to the bathroom, sat on the edge of the tub with the door locked, and pulled up my bank account on my phone. $247. I refreshed it twice, like maybe I'd missed a zero. My next paycheck was 7 days away. I had 3/4 tank of gas. I had enough food to get through the week, if I was careful. I had $47 in my savings account, that I'd been building back up after an emergency vet bill in September. I wasn't being dramatic. I wasn't being entitled. I was being honest about my finances, and somehow that made me the villain. Here's what nobody tells you about family dynamics. The truth is only acceptable if it doesn't make them uncomfortable. The second your reality contradicts their narrative, you become the problem. I sat there for 15 minutes. Someone knocked twice, my sister, I think, but I didn't answer. I was doing that thing where you cry but try to keep it silent, where your face scrunches up and your shoulders shake but no sound comes out because you can't let them hear you break. My phone buzzed. Emma, I'm sorry. I didn't think he'd react like that. Then why did you tell him? I didn't type it. Just stared at the message. Another buzz. Emma, he's been stressed about money too. The property taxes went up. And there it was. The instinct to make excuses for him, to explain why his cruelty was actually just stress, to make me understand so I'd forgive him faster. We all did it. We'd been doing it my entire life. I splashed cold water on my face, fixed my hair, practiced smiling in the mirror until it looked almost real. Then I went back out there because leaving would have caused another scene, and I was too tired for that. Dinner was excruciating. He didn't look at me, didn't speak to me. When my mom tried to include me in conversation, he'd talk over her, redirect to someone else. I pushed food around my plate, that pasta I'd made, which nobody complimented, and counted the minutes until I could leave. My cousin Jake caught me in the hallway as I was getting my coat. Hey, that was messed up earlier. Jake was 24, still in grad school, living off student loans and teaching assistant money. He got it. It's fine, I said automatically. It's not fine. He was way out of line. Jake glanced back toward the living room. For what it's worth, I'm not doing gifts either. Told my parents last month. They were disappointed, but they understood. What's your secret? I tried to make it sound like a joke. Different parents, I guess. He shrugged. But seriously, you're not wrong. This economy is brutal. My stipend barely covers rent. I've been eating rice and beans for weeks. It helped, hearing that. Not because I wanted him to struggle, but because it confirmed I wasn't crazy. This wasn't just me being bad with money, or entitled or selfish. This was real. I drove home in the dark, hands tight on the steering wheel, crying in a way I'd finally let myself. Ugly crying. The kind where you can't catch your breath, and your nose runs, and you have to pull over because you can't see the road. I sat in a Walmart parking lot under fluorescent lights and let myself fall apart. Called my best friend Mia, who was with her family 3 states away. She answered on the second ring. What happened? I told her everything. The kitchen conversation, The public humiliation, the beer bottle gestures, the way he called me selfish. She was quiet for a moment after I finished. Okay, I'm going to say something, and I need you to really hear it. Mia's voice was steady. Your dad is wrong. Not just wrong, he's being emotionally abusive. You set a boundary, you communicated honestly, and he punished you for it in front of your entire family. But maybe I should've. No. Stop. There's no maybe I should've. You did nothing wrong. You told the truth about your finances. That's healthy. That's adult. And he made you feel like garbage for it. I wiped my face with my sleeve. He said I'm entitled. He's projecting. He's entitled. He thinks he's owed a gift regardless of your circumstances. That's not how gifts work. That's not how love works. We talked for 40 minutes. By the end, my head hurt and my eyes were swollen, but something had shifted. Mia was right. I hadn't done anything wrong. Christmas Day, I didn't go to my parents' house. I texted my mom that morning. I'm not coming today. I need space after what happened. My mom called immediately. Honey, please. It's Christmas. Your dad feels bad. He feels bad, or he's embarrassed. Silence. If he feels bad, I said carefully, he can apologize. Directly. Not through you. He's proud. You know how he is. Yeah, I do. And that was the problem. Mom, I love you. But I'm not coming. I'm setting a boundary. If that's not okay, then I don't know what to tell you. I spent Christmas with Mia's family. She'd invited me 2 weeks ago, just in case. They were loud and chaotic and nobody asked me about gifts or money. Her mom made too much food and sent me home with leftovers. It was the best Christmas I'd had in years. My dad didn't apologize. Not on Christmas. Not the day after. Not for weeks. But my sister called on December 27th. I need to tell you something. Emma sounded nervous. I was at work, taking my lunch break in my car, eating reheated leftovers from Mia's mom. Dad did the same thing to me 4 years ago, right after I got married. We were broke, trying to save for a house down payment, and I told him we couldn't afford big gifts. He lost it, called me selfish, said marriage was making me forget about family. Didn't speak to me for 2 weeks. I stopped mid-bite. You never told me that. I was embarrassed. And then when we bought the house and things got better, it was easier to forget. But watching him do it to you. She paused. I should have warned you. I should have backed you up. I'm sorry. Why does he do this? My voice cracked. I think it's about control. When we don't play the role he wants, when we're honest about struggling, it threatens his narrative. Like, if we're not doing well, it means he didn't prepare us well enough. And he can't handle that. It made sense. All of it made sense in a way that made me sad instead of angry. I told him yesterday that what he did was wrong, Emma continued. That you were being responsible and honest, and he should be proud of that. He didn't take it well. But I said it, and I'll keep saying it. 3 weeks later, I got a text from my dad at 11 p.m. Your mother says I owe you an apology. Not I'm sorry. Not I was wrong. Just that my mother says. I stared at it for 10 minutes. Then I typed, You do owe me an apology. But I'm not interested in one you're being forced to give. When you're actually ready to apologize, when you understand why what you did was hurtful, let me know. He didn't respond. But you know what? I didn't need him to. Because I'd already gotten what I needed. Validation from people who actually mattered, boundaries I'd finally set, and the clarity that his reaction said everything about him and nothing about me. I'm 27 now. Last Christmas, I made gifts, baked goods, homemade picture frames, stuff that cost about $5 per person but took time and thought. My mom loved hers. My sister cried. My dad opened his, nodded once and said, Thanks. We're not fixed. We're probably never going to be fixed. But I'm not trying to fix us anymore. I'm just trying to survive the family I was born into while building the life I actually want. And if that makes me selfish, fine. I'll be selfish. At least I'll be honest.